Okay. Martina, I think we're ready.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. Benvenuti a tutti. And it's my pleasure to introduce you Dr. Joyce Miller. Is a faculty member at Texas and A&M University Commerce in the USA. And she coordinates the secondary education program and has developed the Gifted Education Graduate Program at A&M Commerce. And so if you want, Joyce, you can start. So vi introduco la professoressa Joyce Miller, che è un professoressa ordinaria, full professor, nell'Università del Texas, A&M University. Lei è esperta in Gifted and Talent Education, ma anche in tutto quello che riguarda gli aspetti della diversità e del multiculturale. Ecco. Thank you, Joyce.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, my Italian educators. Good morning, Taylor Davidson from Texas. Welcome, welcome, welcome this morning. Again, I'm in Los Angeles, and hopefully you can hear me clearly. And you hear only my voice and not other voices. Now, Martina, how often do you want me to stop? Okay.
Sì, buongiorno a tutti, ho detto la professoressa e benvenuti in questa lezione e dice spero che mi sentiate bene.
Oh, thank you. Let's go to the, Connie, I can advance the slides, but go ahead to the next one. All right, so we're going to just start out by looking at diversity this morning and our purpose. Let's talk about our purpose. Our purpose this morning is to individually as educators develop an understanding and respect. Understanding and respect for diversities of all kinds. That doesn't mean totally embracing everything that you hear and see, but it's developing an understanding and respect for diversities of all kinds. That's our purpose. And to help our students understand and respect diversities of all kinds. Martina.
Ok, allora innanzitutto il nostro obiettivo sarà oggi, nella lezione di oggi, di capire un po' cos'è la diversità. Ma innanzitutto questo significa comprensione, comprendere e riflettere sul rispetto, ed è una diversità che riguarda tutti, non solo le tematiche del razzismo. Yes.
So on this first slide, you see lots of examples of diversity. And in the next series of slides, I'm going to show you some examples of diversity. I would like for you at the end of this series of slides to tell me what you think diversity is. All right?
Allora, la professoressa Miller vi farà qualche esempio di diversità, però prima a lei piacerebbe ascoltare un po' cosa pensate voi che sia la diversità.
All right, this is our first slide. We had a chance to look at that one. Lots of examples of it. Here's the next one. Examples of diversity. What is diversity?
Cos'è quindi la diversità?
Posso parlare in italiano? Martina, fai tu poi? Sì. Diciamo che la diversità ci accomuna tutti, siamo tutti diversi, non credo che possiamo, diciamo, solo se ci consideriamo appartenenti alla specie umana ci possiamo considerare, diciamo, uguali, però poi ciascuno di noi, diciamo, esprime una diversità, cioè non esiste una persona uguale a me, cioè ognuno è diverso. Penso che sia una caratteristica di ogni essere vivente, essere differente da un altro. Cioè, poi, come dire, se sgrossiamo questa diversità, poi ciascuno di noi appartiene ad una specie, quindi l'uomo appartiene alla specie umana, una pianta appartiene alla sua, come dire, alla specie vegetale, però siamo tutti differenti, tutti, senza esclusione, cioè nessun essere vivente può considerarsi uguale ad un altro, penso io.
Okay. So Alessandra says that diversity is something that is for everyone. Everyone is different, but only if we consider inside the same human group, we are equal. We are equal because we are human beings. But we are different. Each of us are different. Joyce, you are mute.
Yes, very good point. Thank you for that. Exactly. Lots of differences on the outside and lots of differences on the inside, but we have that commonality. We are different, but yet we share a lot in common. Unity, but yet diversity. And our next slide further emphasizes the point that Alexandra just made. Lots of diversity there, whether, education, we have political views that divide us and can divide us, economic differences, how we look, our physical differences, our gender, sexual orientation, national origin, all of these constitute diversities and differences. Next slide. I have a series here, about 8. Another way of looking at diversity, all the many different aspects of diversity: marital status, military experience, even thinking styles. Martina, you want to add something in Italian?
Yeah. Lucia, because I'm looking the chat now.
Yes. I would like to say what diversity means to me. For me, diversity is a peculiarity of every human being that needs to be preserved for its richness.
Ok, thank you Lucia.
Thank you.
Se vuoi anche
Se vuoi ti dico sì, che per me la diversità è una peculiarità proprio di ogni essere umano, e proprio per il fatto che è una peculiarità, quindi una caratteristica unica, particolare, e necessita di essere preservata, ho usato questo termine, comunque anche curata, mantenuta, sottolineata, messa in luce proprio per la sua ricchezza.
Okay.
Grazie.
Prima la professoressa Miller ha detto sì, certamente noi siamo diversi, ma abbiamo anche qualche aspetto in comune, e ci ha fatto vedere nelle sue slide tutte le sfumature della diversità, che dipende, la diversità può dipendere dall'educazione che riceviamo, può dipendere dal livello socio-economico, può dipendere anche dal nostro aspetto fisico, può dipendere anche dalla nostra origine, se veniamo da un altro paese, e dopo qui vedete tutte le altre sfumature, insomma. Yes.
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you. Excellent. On the next slide, we'll see further examples of diversity. Question: what is diversity? Even as you look at that graphic there, you see diversity, similarities, but yet differences. Next slide. Gender diversity. Next slide. Now what do you see? Take a look at that photo there. What do you see? What are your thoughts?
Allora, la professoressa diceva sì, ci sono similarità e diversità, abbiamo visto nella slide precedente il genere, adesso vi chiede cosa pensate di questa immagine.
The role diversity. I suppose the woman is the boss, maybe.
Yes. What other examples of diversity do you see? What are the good aspects of diversity? What needs to be improved?
Dice quali aspetti di diversità notate.
The way they are dressed.
Allora, il genere, ha detto Lucia, la modalità come sono vestiti.
No, io intendevo il fatto del ruolo di lavoro, perché la donna seduta a capotavola credo sia il boss.
Okay.
Volevo dire questo prima, non so se si era inteso.
Sì, sì.
The role woman.
If I could add something, they all look the same. They all got the same clothes. They're all the same color clothes, all the same color hair,
But they're not
all
sitting at the same place.
same blue eyes.
The woman is in front of, and the other are on the sides of the table. So I suppose that she is the leader of the meeting. She's exposing to them something, and they're listening and taking notes.
Allora Lucia dice che la donna, quella che ha la mano alzata, è un po' il capo e sta coordinando forse una riunione, mentre la professoressa Phelps ha notato i colori. I colori sono uguali per le sedie, ma anche i vestiti sono tutti neri e variano da questo blu chiaro o nero per tutti quanti, indipendentemente che sia uomo o donna.
All right, let's just assume that they are discussing the school dress code. Now, who do
I can hear you. I can hear you.
invite or add to this discussion? Yes, Martina?
I cannot hear you.
Okay.
Could you
can
repeat, please?
I said, if we look at the graphic now of all that's sitting around the table, suppose the group is making a decision about school dress code. Now, who needs to be added to this table, to this discussion?
Maybe we are little boys who do not feel that they have to wear up boys' clothes, and maybe there are little girls who don't want to wear skirts, who don't feel okay to wear skirts. Si sente?
Well, and I would think students, the bambinis are missing. If it's an elementary school, there's no bambinis.
Yes, very good point. So we are talking about a topic, school dress code. And so we want the students, their voice is missing from this discussion. So with diversity, you want to begin. Can you hear Martina?
No, Chiara, non ti sentiamo. Prova ad aprire l'audio.
Adesso sì?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We're just talking about, yes, the clothes, but the students need to be students, not maybe to be considered boys or girls, because That was the question. And maybe some girls do not like skirts and would like to wear trousers. And that was what I wanted to say. Does this?
Yes. Good point. Very good. Yes.
Of the opposite, maybe a boy would like to wear a skirt and it's not permitted. So,
Could be. Yes.
Now, in Spain, teachers are going to school wearing skirts.
So, you know, that's a very controversial topic, dress code. I know it here is in America, it's a controversial. And so the students don't always agree with decisions that adults make regarding the dress code. And so it strengthens the decision-making process when students are included. Next slide. So, all right, so what is diversity? We've already been discussing diversity, what it is. And next slide. So, who are we as a people? That's what diversity addresses. As a people, it's, we don't talk very much about viewpoint, how we think. We don't always think the same. And that, of course, can be the same thoughts. So diversity addresses how we differ. Young, old, rich, poor, black, white, living in a small town, living in large town, urban, suburban, rural, different religious groups, the educated, the not educated, the disabled, and all the different kinds of disabilities. Martina?
Sì. Allora, qui questa slide è sulla diversità, quindi come possiamo intendere la diversità? Possiamo intenderla anche con delle dicotomie tra, per esempio, giovane, vecchio, ricco, povero, il colore della pelle nero, il colore della pelle bianco, da dove proviene, se vive in una piccola città o in una grande città, la religione di appartenenza, o per esempio se è una persona istruita, educata oppure no, oppure tutte le forme di disabilità.
Next slide. So diversity, we're talking really the whole story is more than numbers and it's more than presence. So it's equity, issues of equity. And notice the graphic that's there. It's not equality, but equity when it comes to policy, practice, position. Inclusion, representation of all. And we do this with equal rights and equitable opportunities. So this graphic represents the overall message that we want to communicate. Martina.
Ok, allora la diversità è più di un numero e della presenza. La diversità corrisponde all'equità, è equità, equità nelle politiche, nelle pratiche, nella posizione. E qui vedete tutto quello che rappresenta la diversità, quindi l'inclusione, la giustizia e la diversità stessa per quanto riguarda le diverse prospettive.
Next slide. So now we take a look at all of these different groups here. We have, and we think about ourselves, we are all a part of several groups. No one person present with us today is a part of only one group. So we are part of the macro, M-A, macro culture, but we are all a part of many, many, many micro cultures.
Ok, allora la professoressa ha detto che noi facciamo parte di differenti gruppi. Noi facciamo parte sia del gruppo di una macrocultura che ci accomuna, e dopo si è fermata, mi sembra. Yes? Joyce, you are mute? Yeah.
The complexity comes, though, with that last word there, intersectionality. Martina, go ahead and tell them that.
Yeah. Ci sono delle intersezioni, cioè tra questi diversi gruppi, quindi apparteniamo a una macrocultura che ci accomuna, ma facciamo parte, tutti noi aderiamo anche a una microcultura, ma ci sono delle intersezioni tra questi diversi gruppi a cui tutti apparteniamo. Yeah.
So intersectionality is a polysyllabic word, lots of syllables there, but very simple meaning. It's that point at which the groups come together. Now, take a look at, say, Connie. Connie is a member of all of those groups that are there. And so Connie, as a woman, doesn't want to be understood and respected because she's a woman, but also discriminated against because she is from higher ed, from the professional, she's a professor. She don't want to be discriminated against because she's a female professor. Understood and respected because of her culture, because of her race, but yet discriminated against because of some other aspect of her, or maybe because she's young, or or she's a senior citizen. See? So my point is that one person can be a member of several different cultures.
Sì, mi sentite? Anche voi ogni tanto sentite male la professoressa Miller?
Sì,
Sì, sì,
salta.
Sì, si sente
sì.
male.
Parecchio anche quando succede.
Joyce, sometimes we hear you a little bad. I don't know why, maybe your connection, I don't know, but sometimes we don't hear you. We can't hear you sometimes. So, but I try to translate. Ha detto che ha parlato dell'intersezione e ha fatto un paragone con la professoressa Phelps. Dice la professoressa Phelps fa parte del gruppo delle donne, è una donna, ma è anche una professoressa, quindi fa parte del gruppo dei professori. Quindi diceva una persona, ogni persona, ognuno appartiene a diverse culture. Yes, yes, Joyce.
Okay, and so the other thing I can do is I could, if I log out and get back on another, but that we don't want to, you want to continue? Can you hear me?
So.
I think go ahead and log out, Joyce,
Okay,
and let
because,
Martina.
Connie, can we?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
we can continue discussing because I'm sure there's lots of examples of these types of cultures. I'll let you back in. Just go ahead and leave and come back in. We'll let you in.
La professoressa prova a uscire e a rientrare perché sì, non si sentiva molto bene. Però ha detto la professoressa Connie che possiamo eventualmente continuare a discutere. if you want, we could to continue to discuss the diversity.
I have a question that maybe you can ask in Italian, and that is, what kind of diversity do Italians typically think of? You know, not in America or not in other parts of Europe, but what kind of diversity do we have in Italy?
Bellissima domanda. Wonderful question. Thank you, Connie. Allora, la professoressa dice quali tipi di diversità in Italia abbiamo? Cioè, che tipi, le tipologie di diversità, cosa intendiamo, cioè, proprio i gruppi, quali secondo noi sono?
Non ho capito la domanda.
All of us are members of several different cultural groups. And so that's called intersectionality, the point at which our cultures come together. Is that better, Martina?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I can remember when we first started talking about feminism and women getting together and talking about their lives. I attended some of those meetings as an African-American female. And most of those present were white females. And they talked about issues related to women, discrimination issues, or issues of diversity and lack of inclusion. But in all of them, I could relate to as an African-American. They were using the same language, the same issues, the very same issues. But none of those women seemed to realize that there were other groups facing those very same issues as the women were. So as I sat there in the meeting, you can see as an African-American, all right, but I'm also a woman, okay, listening to the issues as they were discussed, and I'm thinking, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could all realize the commonalities that women have with other diverse groups, or that other diverse groups have with women.
Ok, allora la professoressa dice prendiamo come esempio per le donne bianche e le donne afroamericane, e potrebbero avere la stessa lingua e parlare lo stesso linguaggio, e dice che nella diversità potremmo anche però trovare delle parti in comune, qualcosa che accomuna la diversità.
Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so let's not, this word intersectionality is a big word, but it really is very meaningful. Now, as you take a look at that photo there of all the women, I want the members, Martina, to find themselves in that picture, somebody that they can identify in that picture to the left. And think about, they are all women, but how could they possibly differ? What are the differences? And I'm going to stop and let them answer. They're all women, but yet, what are the differences possibly?
Ok, come vedete in questa immagine, in questo disegno, ci sono tutte donne, ma quali sono gli aspetti in comune? Ha detto diversità, Joyce?
No, differenza.
Scusatemi, non mi sono scritta l'ultima parola. Quali sono le differenze?
I colori, colors, all colors, not only of the skin.
The color of your hair, the way we are dressed.
The makeup color as well.
Someone has the head covered up.
Yes, kind of maybe a different religious group, perhaps.
Yeah. Maybe they come from different part of the world. maybe.
What about age differences?
Yeah.
Allora,
Some
inoltre è stato detto colori, capelli, vestiti, trucco, differente origine,
age, anche età, age.
l'età. No, dice, l'ha messa come domanda, cosa pensate?
Yes, c'è perché this one, the girl with the that is dressing a green veil on his purple hair appeared to be older than the one she has on her side with ginger hair, for example.
Yes, so seem to be age differences there. So here's a quote. There is no such thing as a single issue struggle because we do not live single issue lives. That's the complexity of it all.
Allora, qui c'è una citazione, non c'è nessuna cosa come un unico problema perché noi non viviamo in vite singole circa. E dice che è complesso da capire.
Next slide. So now if we look at the word culture, because that's another one of those words that sometimes is complex for us, but it says who we are. Culture says a lot about who we are, the commonalities that we share, the characteristics that we share, our commonalities in terms of art, our music, the food that we eat differs from culture to culture to culture. Dress may be different. Even values and mores, the way we do things different from culture group to culture group. Families, religious differences. So everybody has a culture. We all are a part of at least one culture and maybe many cultures and subculture groups. We're part of cultures and subculture groups. And again, these are layers and layers of diversities, differences.
Ok, allora adesso parliamo di cultura, che anche questo rientra nella complessità. Chi noi siamo? Tutti noi abbiamo una cultura, questo l'ho detto alla fine, tutti noi abbiamo una cultura, almeno una cultura, ma abbiamo anche delle sottoculture, delle microculture. E poi qui ha detto la cultura, quello che rappresenta l'arte, la musica, il cibo, i vestiti, le credenze, i valori, la famiglia, la religione. Ok?
Yes, more and more levels of diversity, which makes it even more complex. So when we talk about, gifted kids, advanced kids, lots of complexities there in understanding who they are, but lots of complexities even as we try to get our minds around diversity and how we differ. If I could use the example of children, Connie is a specialist in early childhood education, and she knows that little children benefit a great deal when they're able to say, when they believe when they're young, that my dad is the best. My dad is the biggest, the greatest. The way we do things at our house is better than. That kind of egocentrism serves a child very well when they are young. But as they grow in age and become middle schoolers and high schoolers and adults, that kind of egocentrism has to be expanded as they grow and they learn that, oh, my friend Johnny's father is also best. He's also, my friend Johnny thinks his dad is the best, the greatest. My friend Johnny thinks the way they do things in their home is the best way. We have Christmas dinner at 12 noon. My friend Johnny's family has Christmas dinner at 7 p.m. Differences. And so as we grow in age, we learn that we differ, but that's okay. It's beautiful.
Ok, allora dice, ha parlato un po' di questo egocentrismo naturale che c'è nei bambini quando sono piccoli, ha fatto l'esempio di questo bambino che dice che il suo papà è il migliore al mondo, poi crescendo però si sposta il focus dalla famiglia agli amici esterni alla famiglia, quindi l'egocentrismo diminuisce e magari questo faceva l'esempio del bambino che dice ma John è lui il migliore, oppure ha fatto l'esempio di John che fa la cena di Natale a un altro orario. E quindi capiamo, più cresciamo, più riflettiamo sugli altri e capiamo le differenze.
And so to be an adult with the attitude that my way is the highway is where we run into trouble, you know, my way or the highway, you know, either you do it my way or we don't do it at all kind of thinking. It's what causes us trouble as we make decisions, as we come together as adults and as people in general. Next slide, Martina, next slide. So what is your culture? I'd like for everybody to share, what is your culture? You can put it in the chat box. What is your culture or even cultures?
E potete scriverla nella chat, ha detto la prof.
Taylor, if you're on, you can participate also. We have, and Martina's going to share the Italian, but what is your culture? You may want to have more than one response here. All of you are members of several different cultural groups, not just one. So I put my cultures in the chat box. Black, I also put African American because I use both of those interchangeably. I was born and reared in small town USA. My religion is Baptist. Yes, I'm a Texan too, Taylor. So I'm a member of a variety of cultural groups. I'm a college professor. So different culture, I could go on and on listing the different cultural groups. And you know, it's good for us to realize that we are a member of a variety, various cultures. Martina?
Sì, ha detto che beh, la professoressa Miller, come ha scritto nella chat, mi dispiace dirlo così, ma traduco nel senso che loro mi hanno detto che non è grave dirlo, per me un po' sì, e su questo potremmo anche dibattere, però dire una persona nera, non lo so. Ok, comunque ha scritto che è nera, è afroamericana, vive in una piccola città degli Stati Uniti, è una professoressa e è di religione battista. Ecco, queste sono la sua cultura, forse plurale, le sue culture. Okay, and in the chat, Joyce, Emanuela wrote culture, academic, pedagogical culture, teaching, inclusive teaching, and Chiara in English, I'm a coach, a mother, Italian, my husband's family is from US. Ah, ecco perché sai bene l'inglese. Okay. Abbiamo capito il trucco. That's the reason, because she knows English. Okay. Katia wrote mother, teacher, Christian. Okay, Alessandra, woman, wife, teacher, Italian, and from the South Italy, because maybe, I don't know, to say in the South Italy, maybe some people recognize that like a different culture. I don't know. And Emanuela.
Sì, volevo intendere perché appunto ci sono delle differenze notevoli, no? Tra l'Italia del nord
Esatto.
e l'Italia del sud, sì, assolutamente.
Anche solo a livello di accoglienza.
Very
No,
different
parliamo proprio di, come dire, culinarie, climatiche, ce ne possiamo mettere veramente tante, no? Vabbè, poi voglio dirvi delle cose, insomma, che pensavo riguardo, non all'essere meridionale, insomma, altre cose che mi sono venute in mente dopo.
Okay, Alessandra says that there are some culture differences from North to South Italy, and Alessandra is from South Italy. And the differences are food, for example, or weather, or the different way to welcome other people. Maybe in the north we are more ice, and in the south they are more warm people. Daniela wrote in the chat that she's woman, teacher, come si dice cristiana? Christian, Catholic, Catholic Christ, and from Napoli, di origine molisana, origin from Molise, and she's graduate in science, and she has red hair.
Yes, red hair. It's different. Taylor, would you put your mic on and share with us your cultures, if you're still there? Is Taylor still present?
Yes, sorry, I'm in between listening to y'all and I'm having to deal with some other things at the house. Mine is just my culture. I guess it's just a mixture. Like, you know, I said, it's American, Texan, teacher, and like you said, religion. So like Baptist. What else? I think, I don't know, like, I don't know what else to think of on it.
Let's see, what about small town USA?
Oh, yes. I live in a very small town. I would say like close community, because I feel like my school, we are very close. And for some reason, I want to say, I don't really know if it's a culture, but like, you know, in Texas, football is important. So football.
Taylor, I have to say that that's an understatement particularly if you live in Dallas.
Ok, la collega Taylor ha detto che è americana, viene dal Texas, è un'insegnante, religione battista e vive in una piccola città.
Okay, so we're all a part of a culture. So no one can say that, oh, I wish I had a culture. I've had teachers that actually say that. Everybody has a culture, and we're all a part of many different cultural groups. That's the first thing we need to realize, I think, as teachers. So if we realize we have a culture, then we can begin to talk about and embrace our own culture and the culture of others.
Sì, mi sto scrivendo. Allora, tutti abbiamo una cultura e dobbiamo realizzare appunto nel senso di avere consapevolezza della nostra cultura, ma anche della cultura degli altri.
Next slide, Connie. Moving toward the end here. And so now let's make a connection to our classroom as educators. What does diversity mean for our classroom? Well, it means once we have developed this perspective and we have the right set of glasses on in terms of how we look at the world, how we look at our classroom, how we look at who's present in our classroom. You look out upon your classroom of, say, 22 students, or however number of students you have. You see boys, you see girls, you see identifiable minority groups, different skin tone, different hair color. When they speak, you may hear different dialects. Your classroom is a microcosm, a representation of what's in the society, in the world in general. Martina?
Yes, arrivo. Ok, allora ha detto cosa significa diversità in classe, quindi come insegnanti. Quindi come vediamo la diversità nella classe? Per esempio nella nostra classe, se abbiamo 22 studenti, vediamo ragazzi, vediamo i maschi, vediamo le femmine, vediamo notiamo una differente origine, magari assentiamo che hanno un accento, un dialetto diverso, e quindi diceva la professoressa, la classe rappresenta la società.
So as you begin to make decisions about what you're going to teach, you need to consider your audience, your students, the diversities that are represented, the differences that are represented. Students should be able to see reflections of themselves in the school's curriculum, in your lesson plan. Reflections of themselves. And so that means as you choose books that we're going to read, the class is going to read, you think about diversity. Who's represented in those stories, in the books that you're going to read? Have you included stories about what boys are the main character, what girls are the main character? What are the girls doing, those stories? Are they taking a lesser role? Are they leaders in the story? Or only the boys leading? Are you including books with information about your students who are of different colors? Do you include books? If you teach the younger kids, books with photos of kids with different hair texture, different skin tones. May seem not important to us, but it's very important to your students. They're looking at the curriculum They're looking at what you teach, the materials that you're using, and looking for images of themselves, reflections of themselves in that curriculum. And so this little book here, we found, a researcher found that there were very few books in the library where little boys, African American boys, go and check out a book that talked about their hair and how they go to the barber shop and how they get their hair cut. Little girls and how they wear their hair in braids. And there weren't any books with little girls with their hair in braids. So these little girls, can go to the library, pull a book down from the shelf with a little girl with brown skin and with braids in her hair. So we want to educate our librarians, our media specialists, so that they upgrade and diversify the offerings that are in the library, the books and resource materials, the videos. Be concerned about what we're putting on the bulletin boards in our classrooms, what we're displaying, images that are being displayed about the school. And you know what? Even if your school is on the surface all the same color, all the kids are from the same culture group, it's still important for you as a teacher to prepare those students for the outside world, for their community, for the world that they're going to go into, which is very diverse. We do our students a disservice if we say that, well, there are no girls at this school, so we can just read stories only about boys. Or we can display images on our bulletin board only about boys. There are no girls here. No, they're going to encounter girls in the society at large. And so it's necessary for us to prepare them for a diverse global community. That's a lot, Martina, but can you communicate something?
Ok, I try. Ok, allora, la professoressa Miller ci ha offerto delle preziose riflessioni su come insegniamo, ha iniziato da questa domanda, come insegniamo? Quindi dovremmo tenere in considerazione gli studenti, essere noi stessi consapevoli della diversità, ma anche, e questo ha insistito molto, prepararli alla diversità. Per esempio, quando leggiamo un libro, diceva, dovremmo riflettere sui valori della diversità. Per esempio, quando leggiamo un libro ed emerge la diversità di genere, maschio e femmine, potremmo fare delle riflessioni insieme a loro. Ma potremmo utilizzare i libri anche per parlare della differenza di colore della pelle. E tutto questo dobbiamo tenere in considerazione quando programmiamo e per preparare i giusti materiali, insomma, per selezionare quei libri che potrebbero esserci utili per riflettere sulla diversità. Ma diceva sì, oltre ai libri possiamo utilizzare anche i video. E poi diceva che la nostra scuola dovrebbe preparare i bambini al mondo, anche per esempio se nella nostra classe ci sono tutti i bambini bianchi, però il nostro ruolo è quello di preparare i nostri alunni alla diversità, che è una diversità globale. Ecco.
Thank you. So even when we are assessing students and evaluating them, we want to keep in mind diversities. At the university, when students come to us at the university and they say to us, I am dyslexic, the minute they say that, we know that we need to make modifications and adaptations in terms of how we present our coursework and content. And so with your students, when you know that there are certain differences in terms of how they learn, the pace at which they learn, then we need to make modifications and adaptations so that they can grasp that information, or so they can show you that they have learned that information. So when we are deciding on how we're going to assess, you might want to provide various ways of assessing. Assess in writing, maybe with essay, assess with multiple choice type tests, assess with verbal, where you have students give you those responses verbally, assess with role play, assess with putting them into groups and let them do a problem-solving activity to show you that they've learned that academic content. So if we're going to be recognize diversity as we plan our lessons, as we choose the curriculum and the materials, the videos, the film that we're going to use in the classroom, when it comes time to evaluate and assess, we need to consider various ways of evaluating and assessing our students. Diversity of ways of assessing.
Ok, allora la professoressa faceva un esempio che ai ragazzi quando vanno da lei all'università alcuni dicono di essere dislessici e così i professori ne tengono conto, fanno delle modifiche e così anche noi insegnanti teniamo conto delle differenze anche che ci sono in classe sul ritmo di apprendimento e ne teniamo conto e modifichiamo e adattiamo, differenziamo la didattica. E questo avviene anche nel momento della valutazione, che differenziamo sulla base di quello che vogliamo valutare, per esempio se vogliamo valutare la scrittura di testi oppure l'oralità. E quindi riconosciamo la diversità sia quando programmiamo sia quando valutiamo.
Thank you. Let's go to the next slide, Connie, as we move toward closure. So lessons on differences, share resources. I've already shared with you the couple of books here that were reflections of kids themselves. There is another book called People. How many of you are familiar with this by Peter Spires? This is another resource that you can use and bring into your classroom to help kids understand how people different all around the world. They play different games. They're not all the same games. Italian kids probably love certain types of games. Kids from Texas enjoy playing certain types of games. Diversities in terms of games played, diversities in terms of foods that are eaten, the different types of breads that people eat around the globe. There's a little book, this one is called Bread, Bread, Bread. And its author is Ken Hyman, is a photographer. Ann Morris is the author, Bread, Bread, Bread. And the author just whips around the globe looking at the different types of breads. I think there's a great work to be done in the elementary school to help kids understand differences. Sometimes little ones seem to take that word different. They don't want to be different. It's a negative. But we need to emphasize that differences are positive. There's another little book called Hats, Hats, Hats. The author again goes around the globe, around the world, looking at the different types of hats and what we call those hats in different cultures and the purposes served by those different hats in different cultures. So once again, just trying to help kids understand that differences are beautiful. They make our world what it is. Next slide.
Traduco.
Yes. Go ahead.
Scusate, finisco di scrivere due cose. Ok. Allora, vi ha condiviso con voi alcuni libri che possono essere utilizzati in classe appunto per riflettere sulla diversità. Poi ha parlato che la diversità può essere anche nei giochi, nel cibo, ed è importante quindi ad aiutare i nostri alunni a capire la diversità, promuovendo il messaggio che le differenze sono una risorsa e quindi in termini positivi. Aiutiamo quindi, ha ribadito la professoressa, aiutiamo a capire che tutte le differenze sono positive. Yeah.
Next slide, please. Okay, so identify books, media resources that reflect diversity, and open your eyes to the diversity that's all around you. Work for inclusion, bringing a diverse group around the table as you meet as teachers in making decisions. Look around to see who's missing, who's present, who needs to be a part of this committee, what voices need to be heard, and diversify. It's a positive. Look for allies, help others to see, help others to put the right set of glasses on. What is present? Who is present? Who should be present? Look at your life, look at your school, look at your curriculum, and work to make a difference.
Ok, allora è importante quindi identificare, cercare libri oppure altri strumenti perché costituiscono delle risorse importanti che aiutano a riflettere sulla diversità della classe, ma non solo della diversità che c'è all'interno della classe, ma anche la diversità nel mondo. Quindi sotto i suggerimenti in giallo, ve li traduco, i suggerimenti sono: apri i tuoi occhi alla diversità, tutto attorno a te, lavora per l'inclusione, lavora per l'equità, diventa alleato, aiuta gli altri a vedere cosa è presente e chi è presente e chi potrebbe essere presente. Guarda la tua vita, la tua scuola, il tuo curriculum, la tua programmazione didattica e lavora per fare la differenza.
Thank you very much. We'll stop at that point. I think we've already surpassed our time. I was going to show you this. This represents the enrichment triad model. I'll go back one, Connie, to that enrichment triad model, which I think Jean did a nice job of explaining this. But, you know, coming in type 1 activities with your overarching topic. If it's technology, we're going to do lots of activities during type 1 that are addressing technology. And the hope is that at the end of a given period of time, the students are ready to choose a topic that they're going to explore and study in depth related to technology, that overarching topic. And also, Martina, I'd like to emphasize the thematic approach to instruction, that there is also, the teacher also chooses a theme, whether it be systems or exploration or interdependence as an overarching theme, you know, or if the teacher wants to explore technology, the theme word, the abstract theme may be exploration, you know, of our world through technology. But type 1, exploring relative to a particular topic, and at the end of a given period of time, if the students have made a decision as to what topic they want to explore, maybe they've submitted their little project proposal form. I want to do this type of project for my type 3. And then teacher gets all of those little proposals, looks at them and decides what kinds of skills do the students need in order to carry through with their project. Now the teachers are making lesson plans for type 2 training and equipping kids with the skills that they need in order to carry out their project when they get to type 3. And so you see those arrows flowing in and out because a child could get to be finished with type 1. The teacher has finished with type 1, but you know, they've changed their mind. So now they've got to go back to type 1. They no longer want to do what they originally decided they're going to do. So they're going to go back and explore, choose another one before they move on to type 2 activities, training, learning how to carry out the project that they want to do. So that if you have questions about those errors, it's really communicating that the enrichment triad model is not a, like first step, we're going to move along in groups. We know that you can't do that. So it's because some of them are going to be ready to move from type 1 to type 2, and from type 2 to type 3 as a group in unison. But the reality is you're going to have kids that are still at type 1 deciding when other kids have moved on to type 2, and others may have moved on to type 3, and others are still at type 2. So it's a dynamic, it makes for a dynamic classroom when you use the enrichment triad model. The next slide quickly. Oh, go ahead, Martina, if you want to say something about that.
Ok, allora beh, questo è il modello di Renzulli che sicuramente avete già studiato e già visto, ma la professoressa insomma ci teneva a dire sì, le tipologie tipo 1, l'attività di tipo 1 dove si esplora, l'attività di tipo 2 dove si possono fare delle attività di gruppo e scegliere un determinato argomento, attività di tipo 3 riguarda un particolare progetto, però diceva la professoressa che si può saltare, cioè perché si considera la classe come un luogo veramente dinamico, quindi gli studenti potrebbero saltare l'attività di tipo 1 e iniziare subito con l'attività di tipo 2, oppure potrebbero partire dall'attività tipo 3 e poi andare alla 2. E un'altra cosa che ha detto la professoressa è che l'insegnante potrebbe anche suggerire il tema per la lezione, pur mantenendo questo modello di Renzulli.
Our very last slide just says that diversity is a total school environment effort. And if you click, Connie will fill in all the different aspects of the school that diversity needs to be shown in, not just in the classroom, it's in the hallways of the school. Look at school policy, look at attitudes of teacher, look at your counseling program, look at assessment, how you're testing kids, look at teaching methods and materials. So address diversity, equity, inclusion in the total school environment.
Ecco, quindi come promuovere, come indirizzare la diversità, l'equità e l'inclusione nel contesto scolastico.
And last slide, honey, I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Ok, ha finito, la professoressa ha finito la presentazione e vi ringrazia.
Okay, so we ran over a little bit there, but do we have any questions?
Grazie mille. Grazie mille. Ci vediamo presto, no? Martina, posso iniziare con i ragazzi? Perché avrei dovuto già ieri, però in realtà avevo il master, quindi non mi è stato possibile.
We have a problem with credentials because they don't function. The username and password to use Renzulli learning system doesn't work.
Yes.
Sandra said.
Okay, I sent you the list yesterday, Martina, that she added. Did you try those?
Yeah, I sent them.
So you have the first name and the last name with a dash, like, I'll chat it in so you can see.
IT, yeah, it doesn't work.
Let's see. Well, okay, where is the chat? Okay, like this. So it would be so Joyce, let's see, it'd be oops, I don't think it typed, I'm sorry.
In ogni caso, Martina, i ragazzi l'hanno ricevuta, hanno avuto, diciamo, le credenziali le hanno ricevute ieri, no? Me le hai mandate tu. Quindi posso iniziare?
Ma se non funziona, non
Yes,
riesco ad aiutare.
Yes,
Is that what you're using? Just like
yes,
that?
yes. It's like just like that. Yes.
That's the username? That's the
Yes.
username. And then the
the
password is,
password Rinzulli with
Yeah.
capital R. Yes.
I'll have to check Monday. I don't know, we could look, you could try your email address, maybe. If there's an email address there, but the email address would have to be different, you know? Let me look at that list again. I don't know, we haven't had that problem with the other lists that I've sent, so I am not sure why. Let me look at the list again. I can probably check it, you know, to see who's in what group. Let me do that really quickly. I mean, because you're going to want to know. Okay, it'll take me just a minute, Martina, so if there's any other questions.
Ok, allora ha detto la professoressa che prova a fare lei un controllo veloce adesso, quindi se ci sono altre domande per la professoressa Miller.
No, tutto abbastanza, come dire, chiaro, anche perché io sulla diversità ci lavoro da 30 anni e quindi, diciamo, facendo l'insegnante di sostegno, quindi in ogni caso come dire, sono tutti temi che ho affrontato e che affronto continuamente, no? Perché cerco di educare, come dire, di dare anche delle sollecitazioni, no? Quando c'è un ragazzo diversamente abile in classe, quindi di cogliere delle opportunità, insomma, per la presenza, sia agli insegnanti e ai miei colleghi che ai ragazzi con i quali lavoro, cioè con i ragazzi della classe.
So Alessandra is a special ed teacher, so always she reflects on diversity, and so it's all very non mi viene in mente chiaro. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Alexandra, I am a special ed education teacher also, but in gifted. Okay, so here's the list for Italy. And it looks like they're using the email. This is for you as teachers, okay? So everyone can, I'm sorry, but everyone can see it. So the username, and then I don't see the password, but this is the username here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, let me see what else I can find.
Non mi sembra di leggermi finora.
No, but these are the teachers.
Yeah.
There is my name, but
I'll see if I can find it for the students as well.
Ecco,
okay.
Sì, ci sono, eccola qua.
Well, there are more pages. So let's just look at all the pages first and see if there are more, because now do we have students?
No. Teacher, yeah, student.
Do we see some students now? Yeah, here's some students. So these are,
Ecco sì, puttana Melania.
so she must have used this as the ID, and then this is, I don't know why they're like this. I have no idea. But I can tell you, I'm looking in the system.
Sorry, but the username is different from the ID.
Well, sometimes this one
We have
isn't.
the ID, not the username, correct?
Well, okay, here, this is,
This is my student.
yeah, this one is the same. Let's go back, okay? Let me see if there's any
but
more.
in the previous, they were not the same.
No.
Like Meli, Lapo, for example.
Yeah,
probably we have to use the username.
Do you,
No?
so who needs, let's see, who do we have on the call? The teacher, where's? So these are how they are in the system. I can tell you that. I don't see the password, but maybe the password is Renzulli.
Yes.
So it looks like, okay, why is, oh, okay, why is this? Why are those numbers at the end?
It's different. So I was saying this.
Yeah, I didn't ask her to do it. That's not the information I put on there. So usually whatever I send is the way they do it. So I apologize because I'm surprised that I mean, you can't access it if you don't know the username, you know. So, but there is a way to print this all off. So Martina, we'll just have to send this. Can I go back? Do I need to go back for more?
Yeah.
Okay, there's still more students here. And these usernames are different. This one is the same, but that's a teacher. So she did it the way I sent it for the ID, but then gave them a different
Username.
Yeah, so it looks like it's the first letter and then the last name, but then this number, I don't know where the number comes from.
Sorry, Connie. There is also my son, because when I was doing the course of 9 hours of Renzulli, I use him as a pupil. So I put his name into the system as he was a student of mine. And his username is also the name with a number.
Well, this is how, this is, okay.
No, sorry for my English. I said it in a very bad way.
Oh, no, I understand you perfectly. I can't explain this other than maybe some people put them in, but this is who's in Talent Inclusivi. This is everybody. Whoops, sorry about that. Oh, look. Okay, now this is very nice. I like this. This is what I would like to print for everyone. I'm not sure how I did that. But if we could do that for everybody, that would be great. So, so here's the username, and then the password though is different.
When I can't remember how to say it. When I register, oh sorry, my son, I get this paper and I printed it.
Okay, you registered your son?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sebastiano Giulian is one of the
Okay.
pupils.
Yeah, okay, I think that might be part of the reason, maybe. But the main thing is to know what it is, you know? Okay, let me go back out and see where I am with this. Did everybody get everything that they need? Okay, so, you know, we shouldn't really be sharing everybody's information, but we just have to, you're all teachers, and you know that we'll have to keep this private, you know, nobody else should be able to see this. But does everybody have what they need? Can we click through this again, or can I think I can print the whole thing. Let's see. Oh, maybe not.
No.
Okay, I thought maybe I could print it. So Martina, what can we do to help? What do we need to do to help? Do we need to print this somehow and send it to
We
you?
tend to copy username.
Yeah, you need this, but if we could print it, it would be much better.
Yeah.
And then I can send it to you. I'm very sorry.
No
See,
problem.
these are, some of them went in. I don't know how come the other ones are different.
Mhm.
But at least we can find everyone.
Mhm.
Is this someone from Italy?
Yeah.
Okay, somehow we got Emporia State in there too. Well, I think the reason is so that I can see where you are, but I can access the manager site for some reason. And this is how you're registered. There's no question. Okay, so is there, if we could somehow print that, I'm not going to do it again now, but if we can figure out how to print that, you know, like that little page that has the summary, that's the very best thing. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Now we find the problem, so we can find a solution now.
Yeah, that's right. If you don't let us know, we don't even
Ciao a
know there's a
tutti.
problem.
Ciao. Ciao, vi dico
Okay. Okay, thank you. Shall we
Ciao.
end now?
Grazie mille.
Okay.